MODO Morsels.
Sometimes mere morsels are just not enough to satisfy the empty void that gnaws at your soul like some insatiable parasite. Sometimes we need a more substantial meal. In this morsel, I will look at creating this tasty-looking iced donut. First, we need to create the donut shape. Create a mesh and add a toroid operator and make it a Catmull-Clark surface. Job done, eh? Not so fast. Have you ever seen a perfectly smooth toroidal donut? I didn't think so. Let's rough it up a bit. Add a jitter operator to add some imperfections and to break up the silhouette. It's looking better, but we could do with some high frequency variation. Add a couple of subdivide operators and another jitter. Adjust until you're happy with the look. Remember that this is all procedural, so you can always come back and modify it later if need be. Next, icing. No, don't go, I mean icing, frosting. I will be using the VDBVoxel item for this. This can convert a cloud of particles into a geometric surface. So first we will need some particles. The surface particle generator will generate particles on a surface. The clue is in the name. Add the surface particle generator and plug in the donut mesh. You should see particles all over the mesh. Adjust the particle spacing to get a good covering. Frosting on the whole donut is very tempting, but think of the sticky fingers. We can control the particles using the slope to modulate the density. Adjust the density gradient ramp until the coverage looks good. Now we can feed the resulting particles into a VDBVoxel item, or we could, if it worked, but for some reason we need to stick a dummy particle modifier in between. Add a basic particle modifier and connect the surface particle generator, and then connect the modifier to a VDBVoxel item. In the VDBVoxel, turn on Generate Voxel Mesh. You will need to fiddle with the parameters to get something that looks nice. The radius scale will affect the thickness of the result, and the voxel resolution will control the density of the resulting mesh. Don't worry if the mesh looks a bit lumpy at this stage. We'll fix it in the next step. Now create a new mesh and add a merge meshes. We are going to pull in the VDBVoxel results so that we can do some more processing on it. Hide the original voxel node. Now add a smooth operation to the stack and crank the iterations up high. 50 is a good number. The mesh should look a lot smoother now. Before I go any further, I'll add a material tag to the icing and call it Icing Stuff. In the shader tree, create a group and select the Icing Stuff tag. Add a material, and well, that's good enough to go. To add the sprinkles, we will use the surface particle generator again. Select the icing mesh as input and adjust the spacing and density gradient as before. Add a replicator and select the new surface particle generator as input. For simplicity, I will use a cylinder for my sprinkle shape. You can go crazy if you want. Create a new mesh and add the cylinder operator. That's one big sprinkle. Adjust the size and use it as a prototype for the replicator. Some more adjustments are needed to get the sprinkles to look reasonable, including adjusting the minimum distance on the surface particle generator. Finally, add some variation to the orientation of the sprinkles in the replicator. And I think our donut is ready to eat.
MODO Morsels.